number 21, Matt Thomas.
The journey that I've taken to get to where I am today isn't a journey that's common.
Free ball on the way from Thomas. Oh, my!
Iowa State, Big 12 tournament champs.
Natty Ice. And he drills it.
Everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own path, and I wouldn't trade mine for anything.
Ever since he was little, Matt's life revolved around sports, especially basketball. His mother, Martha, was a high school basketball star, and his dad, Greg, rarely missed a game.
When my mom and dad split up, we would go there on the weekends and see him. We'd go play horse or pig. On Sundays, we'd always have like pancakes and bacon, and we'd have breakfast. And he put peanut butter on his pancakes and then watch NFL, watch the Bears play. We definitely were close. As a kid, you don't understand, obviously, but he had a lot of trouble with, addictions with drugs and alcohol, and he was definitely struggling.
Greg, who worked as a nurse, lost several jobs and eventually his medical license after he was caught stealing painkillers. On September 1st, 2005, Greg Thomas shot himself. Matt was only 11 years old.
At that age, all you know is you lost your dad. It was really hard. It was a really hard time.
I could only imagine how tough it was on him. I just tried to be there for him, with as far as sports go or just as a friend. We were pretty much inseparable at times.
I needed someone there for me at that time, and Dustin was that friend, and Todd was the father figure that stepped in for me, and without them, I don't know where I'd be.
Dustin Gordon and Matt have been best friends since the 3rd grade. You name a sport, they played it together. And Dustin's dad, Todd, embraced Matt as his own.
My dad was very selfless. He would do anything for you at any time. He was my number one fan, one of Matt's number one fans.
With Todd, he stepped in as a father figure for me. I was over at their house all the time. We'd play pig or horse in the driveway, kind of the same stuff that I was doing with my dad. He just kind of stepped in and filled that void for me.
Basketball filled a void for Matt, too. The court was his sanctuary, a sacred place.
Basketball was always my outlet, kind of like an escape for me. All I need is the ball and the basket, and I'm good.
It was a blast playing with him. Those games were packed, and there was a lot of crowd energy at those just for people trying to get a spot to see Matt play.
And draw the 6'4" junior number 21, Matt Thomas.
Every time you had Matt on your team, you knew you had a chance going into any game. Our team knew our roles very well. Matt's role was to score the basketball.
Thomas putting on a show.
Dustin Gordon. Matt Thomas.
When Matt and Dustin were younger, Todd took them to watch the championship game every year. Winning it in 2012 was their childhood dream realized.
My dad, you could just tell how proud he was of both of us, and that's a moment that I'll never forget.
That moment was one of their last happy memories.
My dad just bought a small fishing boat and took it out for the first time. It's April, the water's cold, and they ended up finding the boat, but my dad was not in the boat when they found it.
It was a really tough time for me, but even tougher for my best friend Dustin, and I'm glad that we had each other during those times.
For Matt, this is the second time he lost a dad. I couldn't even imagine the pain that he was feeling, and really all he was worried about was how I was doing.
Throughout it all, basketball was a steadfast comfort.
Right corner, Matt Thomas 3, good!
Matt went on to make a name for himself as a three-point specialist at Iowa State. After graduating, he played professionally in Spain. And then in July of 2019, he found a home in the NBA with the Toronto Raptors.
Oh, Thomas connects.
That wasn't
he
easy.
drills it again. Matty Ice is on fire.
I've seen behind the scenes, I've seen all the work that he's put in throughout the years. Just to see that coming to fruition and see all of that, you know, being shown to the rest of the world right now, and I couldn't be more happy for him.
Do you think about what your father or what Todd might have said about making it to the NBA?
You know, you realize that they're not here anymore, but I know they're both, you know, watching me and extremely proud of what I'm doing and the person I became.